name's Grant Shorland Sr. I started diving when I was 19. The divers were making 100 quid a day. I decided I'd get a job as a decky, so I shopped around and I got a job with a guy by the name of Phil Sawyer. So I jumped in his 21-foot Bertram with a stern drive and went down to Little Ram, and first day there's a mountain of abs. I couldn't clean them. He hopped in the boat, so I spent about nearly half the day cleaning the bastards. Yeah, life went on and price gradually got better, so things got better. Bought a block of land and put the caravan on it, and then I got out of the Mustang and bought a 90-foot Haynes. When they pulled their boats out, they left them at the VP station. So they're all Hayneses, yeah, all diving boats, and Caribbean Mustangs and stuff like that. So that's where you left them. That was good, and then shark cats came along, and I thought I could see the value in one of those because they're just that much better than anything else. I just loved it, and it just felt so safe in that boat. I mean, I go into it. We've been to an enormous season of boating. I've got laying on its side in a big sou'wester and it just flops back on its wheels again. I mean, the ride on the shark cat is unbelievable. And we used to tow mine backwards and forwards. I had an F250 truck, which was set up pretty well for towing. It was we put a 351 Cleveland engine in it. We used to tow it backwards and forwards like nothing from Mallacoota down to Marlow. And you know, we used to 720 clicks on it. It was fantastic. You know, plenty of grunt. In those early days, there wasn't such a thing as an Abalone license. It was a professional fishing licence for $7 we paid. And that entitled you to go and catch abs because there's no limit, nothing. No quotas, nothing. And these guys are bringing, you know, £1,000 a day. We used to use those stand-up rubbish bins. Terrible diving gear, garden hoses to breathe through. Christ, we were absolute guinea pigs, no filters. Christ, I don't know how we'll stay alive. But anyway, didn't really know initially where to go. So we didn't have an echo sound or anything. Just go down there and see where other guys are working, have a look around, clear water, jump in when you can see a bit of reef. And that's how there's abs everywhere. It was good. Yeah. Exploring was like a new world. We go down to like Cape Everard. It was like travelling to the end of the world. It was just a real adventure. Now it's nothing, you know. So we're in these little boats and jumping into the water. It was like living two worlds to me. Like I had the world up here and the world down there. Every day I went out was different. Some days were like diving in a bottle of gin, which is like 100 foot fizz. I could look up and see me decking in 80 foot of water, looking over the side of that shark cat. I could read the numbers on the boat. That was unbelievable. Just, you glide to the bottom, mate. It was just deluxe. Other days you bump into the bottom of shit house, you know. It was just bumping around, you know. Good days and bad days. So then when the fishers decided, there's going to be an industry here, they decided they'd have an Abalone licence. So fisheries was $200. Yeah, $200, half the guys left. I thought, no, $200, you could be kidding. You know, it was a lot of money then. Some of them went down to Portland and down the Central Zone, and we hung about, stayed here, and that was the best thing we ever did. Eventually, quotas came in, and there was a buyback system where 2 for 1, because the resource was getting overfished. I was probably one of the worst to overfish it because there's no quotas, and they used to call me Dago. I used to get out early and come back late, and end up buying an aeroplane, and I'd fish Marlow and here, and had a vehicle each end and a boat each end, and we fished an extra 40 days a year, all the other guys, and we paid for the plane in the first 6 months. We used to come into the wharf in the early days, and the buyers were lined up. You know, there's a sandwich board there for the Chinese. Tom Bidwell from from Cairn River, he used to carry a gun. He used to give us cash, and it was like coming in with with chalkboard, and you just pull up at the guy that was giving you the most money, I guess, you know, and then the cop, you get your check, you put the check in your wetsuit, you know, and then you pull the boat out and you paid on the spot. It was quite an amazing situation. The first license was $7. Then there's a 200 bit that gave us 20 tonnes. Right? When the price was $47 a kilo, or based on the beach price, you'd pay $4 million for a full licence. We did a bit of ocean racing with my first shark cat, which is a cuddy cabin boat, and Bruce Harris is always terrific to us. So we take the windscreen off it and put what were the biggest engines we could get. Then we were 150 horsepower, straight 6-cylinder, which is what they call the big engines. and stainless steel props, and we actually pulled the engines apart before we even ran them straight out of the box, and we blueprinted the whole lot, which the local guy Bruce Osmond did down here at Mallacoota. Did a fantastic job on the engines, and so they were humming. Vented cowls, everything. They were great engines. So took the windscreen off, and 3 of us got in there, and the first Sydney Newcastle we took off from Rose Bay, and Bruce Harris was alongside us. Had a 20-foot shark cat. We had a 23-foot. He thought, oh, we'll dust you blokes up. Anyway, what he didn't realise, the waterline length is speed. He had exactly the same engines. Every sea we fell off, we were half a length in front of him. So he wasn't real happy about that. Anyway, went out through Sydney Heads. It was pretty rough. It was blowing pretty hard. And there's a buoy about, I think it might be the same buoy they used for the Sydney Hobart yacht race. It's about 3 miles straight off the Heads. And Arnold Glass loping along in his cigarette, and had Slingshot, which is another big boat Peter Dean had, which is thousands of horsepower, and that poor little shark cat, mate, we just gassed it. We went past Arnold Glass, and he got the shock of his life. He looked across and saw this old fishing boat with a fishing registration on it, completely airborne, and Christ, so he put the hammer down, and we actually beat him around the first buoy. And then of course he dusted us up when we turned and ran to Newcastle. He had thousands of horsepower. We only had 300. But anyway, it was good fun. We had a fair bit of success with the ocean racing. Around Port Phillip Bay, we had a great run through there, and because it just loved the bay, that big chop, and all short chop and shallow water. The shark cats just in their element. So yeah, no, I can't speak highly enough about shark cats. We've had our moments with seeing sharks and stuff like that, but my biggest danger was when I got an embolism. That was the biggest thing. That's my biggest fright I've ever had, and I think these guys are the same. That's getting bitten by a shark, I think, is secondary. I think the diving deep and not doing the right thing and not looking after himself, I think the medical side of it is far worse. I just had what they call a spontaneous embolism, yeah, in about 30 foot of water. And I hadn't been diving for a while, and I surfaced down at Sandpatch, and about 10 foot from the surface, and my arms just fell. I couldn't work my arms, and I was paralysed from the nipples down. And lucky Madeki was right there, and he jumped in the water and grabbed me, and pulled me aboard. And we had a big bag of abs, boom. So I sat in the boat, and I had this pain in the back of my neck, and like I had a big bag of spuds, and that's where the bubble had lodged. It was an air bubble. And anyway, so I sat there for a while and had a cup of tea, and I had no idea what it was, because I'd been diving for bloody 30 years. So I jumped back in the water again, and as soon as I got down to the bottom, of course, the bubble squeezed down and no pain. Arms working again. Away I went. Got another bag. Oh, this is perfect. Surfaced the second time. No, shit, there's something definitely wrong. So we called on the radio, and they had the ambulance down here and put us in the chamber at the co-op. We had a chamber in it. So I spent a day in the chamber here, a night in the chamber, and got out the next morning. I was still not paralysed, but I was pins and needles. I wasn't right. So they flew the big chopper down from the Alfred, and I spent 28 days in the chamber. Yeah, in and out every day for 28 days. Flying, well then I decided I was out of the water, so I said to the doctor, well, I'll go back in the water. He said, well, you go back in the water tomorrow and you could probably fish your working life out, or you might get another one. It was because it's a spontaneous one, you don't know. So the element of doubt, so I said no. So then I got Dale to jump in and run the shark cat for me. And Junior was a bit younger then, so he wasn't in consideration then. But so then we bought the extra quota and bits and pieces. So then he got keen, so we decided we'd get them both going. So yeah. So now I went and got my commercial helicopter licence, and I started doing some charter work, and I started working with the Rural Fire Service in New South Wales National Parks, and I've had 12 years with them, and done a couple of thousand hours firefighting with them, and we've got a big Bambi bucket, and yeah, so it's got to keep doing things.